Welcome to Get It with Al, where we decode the future of marketing at the intersection of Web3 and AI. I'm your host, Al, and each episode I sit down with innovators who are redefining how we build, grow, and engage in the decentralized space. Whether you're seasoned Web3 marketers or just a crypto curious, you'll walk away with actionable insight and fresh perspectives. Ready to dive in? Let's go. Welcome to the podcast. Today we have Air uh, as our guest. We've been chatting on Farcaster for like quite a while, and so now we get to actually talk and learn more about you.
Thank you for having me. It's very nice. I think it's really like nearly 1 year that we are chatting on Workcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me about yourself.
Yeah, cool. So I go with a higher in crypto Web3,
Mhm.
and I am a marketeer, background in traditional marketing, really traditional marketing. I studied marketing at university, and I worked in started to work in like corporate SEO, PPC, all those kind of stuff. But then really got into crypto and Web3 in 2021 when I entered the space and really thought about connecting with people and thought about I can use my some of my traditional marketing background and knowledge to help some of the projects that were really booming at the time. After 3, 4 years, I now managed to move into a full-time Web3 marketing job, which is nice. I work for a Web3 agency with different projects in the space and helping them grow. So passionate about marketing in general and of course crypto and Web3 marketing, AI in particular.
Okay. So you really were like from traditional to the Web3.
Yes, yeah. I think it's an interesting conversation. I think I don't know if you agree, in crypto and Web3, why when you think about would you hire a traditional marketeer or would you hire a native Web3 marketeer? So I think it's marketing in Web3 and crypto is very different from traditional marketing for sure, but that doesn't mean that there are some background and knowledge from Web3, Web2, sorry, traditional marketing that you can definitely apply in Web3 as well. So yeah, it's an interesting conversation, I think, when I see that in my on my timeline. What do you
Mhm.
think?
Yeah, definitely, because I think the ground of marketing is the same. For sure, Web3 is different, but like the basic remains there. So once you know marketing, I think you can easily adapt. And like Web3 is moving always fast. There's always new project, new things. So like it's hard to say, oh, I'm a native, I'm like the full expert in.
Yeah.
All right. So what's the most like valuable skills like you transfer from traditional marketing to Web3?
It's interesting. I think it's the aspect around it probably is not very, very specifically marketing, but it's around conversion rate and UX as well. When you build a product and you have a website or an app, and it's really important that it's usable for the user. So I think it's a mix between product marketing and marketing, but I believe it's something that is so important to really put yourself in the shoes of the customer and really like use your product in the way that tells you if it's usable or not. And then, I mean, this is really for me the first step. And then content marketing is a huge one, I think, both in Web2, traditional marketing, and crypto marketing, how you deliver content and how you use the content across different platforms that is relevant, it's interesting, it gives value to the user. So, and in crypto Web3, it's even more important when you think about education, onboarding, and telling the story of your product and your brand. And then I think there is still, of course, social media is so different when you think about traditional brands uh, and more crypto brands. But the basis of social media, I think, are there. So how you tell a story again to your audience, and how you make your brand interesting. And I think in the I don't know if you saw that in the couple 2 weeks ago, Duolingo killed the
Mm-hmm.
owl, and then I mean, it's reborn again. But I think Duolingo is one brand that is playing around traditional marketing, but with some of the Web3 aspect as well, like they're building I like to say a cult, right? So
Mm-hmm.
they're building an habit out of their product. They're telling an interesting story. They are jumping on relevant. Yes, relevant topics and events, so they're going viral as well. So I think it was a nice one to see. Funny, but yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And they did a playbook also, like they share
yeah. Which
what
is
they learn.
yeah, I think it's very interesting. I think we discussed in our little Web3 marketing channel about that. But yeah, I think I mean, it's to read. I mean, really like a very well done piece of like marketing book playbook.
Yeah, because marketing is also a lot of, also you said like the product, they're like always like to see what works, what doesn't, like.
Yeah,
Mm, yeah, because the other day also I was talking with someone else, like they're saying there's like a gap between a lot of Web3, they're really into the tech.
yeah.
The content is like hard to read, and then the other side is only like the gens, just sharing memes, and sometimes feels like the middle is missing in Web3. Like, do you feel the same way?
Yeah, definitely. I think there are so many clever people and devs, I think, in Web3, and they're building very interesting and unique products. But sometimes they miss. They're so, you know what I mean? They're just so clever that they don't get that people may not really understand, or being easily onboarded onto a product. An example I have is a client um, which I work with. They are building a product in the Bitcoin space, mining space, and there is a lot of conversation about hash rate and real world assets and all those type of things. And their product was so difficult to understand. I mean, even if I mean I'm in the space since 4 years now, but still was like, what are you doing? There's no way that someone can understand your product based on information you're giving them through the website and social media. So the first step has been really like to make a step backwards and redo a bit of their narratives and really like hyper simplifying that. So I think it's interesting how sometimes we give things for granted, and yeah, we need to simplify. And I think the other point is about the technology again. If you think about like the email, so we all use email, so we don't really care how the email works in the background.
Hmm.
And I think it should be the same in crypto. So you need to use the product. You don't necessarily need to know how that product works, as far as it's useful for you and answer a need. And yeah, it's an interesting concept.
Yeah, as you said, sometimes we forget like, oh, the technology is great, but like if you want to have mass adoption, like most people they don't care like what's behind as long as it's working and it solve a problem they have.
Yeah,
That's it.
definitely. So yeah, we should simplify the space.
Yeah, and really show like why people should care, like what's the use, not just oh it's a great technology, they have that much, hash rate and whatnot. And like, people like I think most people they're not yet in crypto, like, they don't really care. Like as you said, like we don't Even if you drive a car, like you don't understand how the engine works. You just know that it,
Yeah,
it, it takes you from A to B and that's it.
it's a great example actually.
Okay. So you mentioned you work for an agency, so you work for different project at the same time, right?
Yes, yeah. I think it's something that I mean I've done agency side in my traditional web to marketing, and I think it's a very fast paced. And if you think about agency in crypto marketing, it's even more fast paced. But it's very interesting because you can see different projects at different stages of their growth. So from like very known projects, brands in the space to projects that are like just like the first steps before like TG. So it's a very wide range, which is very interesting because you can see different use cases and different challenges you want to build a strategy towards. So yeah, I really like it, and yeah, working with different projects and people is also very fascinating because you get to know a lot of different characters and people, and in this space it's even more interesting, I think, to make connections as well.
Hmm. Yeah. But you mentioned you have like project in different stage of development. Like, can you like give like if there is possibility to generalize like okay if you're like just starting, this is the focus in marketing. If you're already known, like this is more your focus.
Yeah. Yeah. So for what I see, and this is also before my present job, like when I entered in 2021, working with different projects. I think the first thing in Web3, it's really you have a product and you want to, as I was saying, you want to make this product interesting and appealing for the people. So of course we are assuming that the product is answering a need that the community wants. So is the first step for me. It's really how you make the story interesting, how you tell the narrative, how you can like make people know about the project, and the being like curious to know about that and use it. So is as we say, building the community, right? And you build the community through building a story that the community is interested into. And then after that it's more about retaining those people, telling like being engaging with your community towards different channels, of course, but also remembering that it's not just your community, right? Because you want to grow the product even after the launch. So there is a double audience because you want to keep your community engaged, but then also you want to still do things to increase your audience and reach new people. And I think this is where then social media and uh, a lot of like partnerships as well, I think are very, very important in this space. KOLs is an interesting one. I mean, either I think it's one of those tactics that either you all love it or you hate it, but for sure we cannot deny that it's a very big part of a lot of brands marketing strategy to leverage KOLs and yeah, getting the brands out to their audiences as well. So yeah.
Yeah, because you need to like reach above all the noise so people can like see you
Yeah.
basically.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so you always been working in agency or have you worked also just for like one company?
I worked for agency was my first ever job when I get out of university, and then I moved for 10 years. I worked for a very big corporate in the travel space up until COVID, of course, and then. When COVID hit, of course, travel was a big industry which was impacted impacted. So I had the opportunity to move again back into agency, traditional marketing. So we were like doing mainly, as I was saying, UX, conversion rate optimization, SEO, social media, PR, and digital PR was a big one at the time. And then yeah, now I moved into a Web3 full-time role, and agency has been probably my biggest background, and what I really love to do agency is, you, as I was saying, you meet new people, you meet new brands, and yeah, different challenges and opportunities. So it's yeah, I was lucky to move from agency to agency, but from traditional to crypto
Okay.
and Web3.
Mm-hmm.
Which actually is a I don't know, what do you feel about the definition of Web3 marketing versus crypto marketing, because it was one of the topic I think I came across a few weeks ago, which is like, do you call Web3 or crypto, or I don't know. So I just use them both. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think it's just maybe trends, maybe like crypto stays Web3, and maybe it doesn't,
Yeah.
people doesn't use it as much, but
What do you prefer, Web3 or crypto?
sometimes I like Web3 because it feels more like going beyond just the token, but also like maybe use case or like other project. But
It's more inclusive,
yeah,
Web3.
but that's just me.
Crypto, yeah, crypto can be a bit scary from the outside, to be honest.
Yeah. Um. So if you could like give advice to like builders and founders, like um how how should they choose like an agency or like
Mm.
marketing partner, like what would be your advice for them?
Yeah, I think it's a $1 million question.
Mm-hmm.
It depends really, first of all, on budget and on strategy and on goals. I think the agency, for sure, I mean, no, the agency works as far as there is accountability within the brand as well. So it's not that you outsource your marketing strategy to an agency and then everything will work, and the agency will do everything. So there must be someone within the end of project or company that is owning the relationship with the agency. And ideally you want someone with a marketing background. You don't want like the sometimes we see in Web3, like the CEO being the point of contact at the agency. It's really tricky because the CEO has a lot of things to do. It's very busy, and I mean, the last thing you want to use his time for is to manage a relationship with an agency. So, ideally, when you use an agency, there should be someone internal in the company that knows about marketing and own the marketing strategy internally. It can be a CMO, can be like a marketing manager. So it really depends. The experience of this person really depends on, again, on the stage of the brand and the budget and everything. But I think this is for sure one recommendation is, don't just outsource to the agency and expect, because they won't know. They don't have all the inside information that you have within the company. It's not because they don't want to, it's because they don't necessarily have all the background information and knowledge that you have internally. And yeah, the scope works normally with like hours, so you don't have like a lot of time to get into really unfortunately knowing the brand inside out. So yes, I think it's and if you have specific initiatives, so for example KOLs,
Mm-hmm.
as an agency, we do it at scale for different projects. So it works because we are really specialized in specific activities like social media, KOLs, video production, and it's something that you can, as a brand, quickly outsource. And it's such a specific initiative that then is difficult for you to probably hire someone internally just to do like video or KOLs. So I think it's yeah, it really I can see that it really works. It really works when you have a specific initiative that you want to run and outsource, but keeping in mind that there should be ideally someone who is a partner of the agency internally. So yeah, I think it's I like to see the relationship between agency and client as agency being a extension of their marketing team. So
Mhm.
is when it does happen, it really works well because yeah, it's not just an outsourced thing. It's a partnership and is an extension of the knowledge from the client to the agency.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. I think that'll be useful for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Um, so if you're like looking back at, all the project you work in marketing and Web3, like, um, which like approach or things you would have done differently now, knowing what you know
Yeah.
now?
I think it's sometimes it's overthinking and aiming for perfection that can damage sometimes a brand or a product marketing launch. So just to give an example, I worked with a platform and they were before, so they were in the testnet phase, pre-launch, and it was a product built around NFTs at the time of the NFT boom in 2021, 2022. But they were really aiming for perfection. You don't blame it because, of course, you should aim for perfection. But what happened is that
Mhm.
um, they wait so long. To launch then the product that the product wasn't appealing anymore because of course all the interest about NFT was like going down a bit. So yeah, I think it's tricky to find the perfect time to launch. For sure, because then you look at market movements and everything. So, but also, I think at some point you have a product, it works, you see that it fits within the market. You cannot wait for the perfect conditions or the perfection of your product and strategy because I think it's just a risk and sometimes you just like go and test and learn and just like do little steps and then refine. So yeah, I think this would be like a piece of advice.
Mhm. Yeah. So no overthinking.
No overthink, don't wait for perfection. Just like yeah, small steps, test and learn, and refine. Yeah, definitely. I think it's
Mhm.
also when we like try to do social media posts or even like you with this podcast. So it's just like, hey, I want to do it. Let's do it, and then I will learn and I will get insights. You won't never have insights and information to allow you to improve unless you do things. So yeah.
Mhm. All right. Um, Also, like, what do you use, like, to keep up with trends in marketing and Web3? Like, what's your go-to sources?
Yeah, it's X or crypto Twitter, as people still call it. I think it's the first thing I'm doing, like on a daily basis since 2021. It's in the morning coffee and Twitter timeline. It's one. Of course, it's I mean the different things about like publication you are looking at. I think it's building the habit of really like it's the first thing I'm doing in the morning. Normally, um, yeah, it's looking at news, mainly X, LinkedIn as well. I think it's an interesting one because if the more you build LinkedIn around your Web3 or Web3 connection, then you can start to see interesting conversations there as well. And I like to. It's I think I'm I don't know if you tried it. I mean I'm quite passionate about AI and I'm always playing around. But there is the
Mm-hmm.
OpenAI, ChatGPT, there is the task tool. So I tasked my chat to just go in the morning and have a look to news in the topics that I wanted news from. And so every morning I wake up and there is the task from ChatGPT coming back on saying, ah, those are the news that you may be interested about. So yeah, it's a nice thing to have, to be honest.
Yeah, that'd be a good thing to share on
Yeah,
the channel.
yeah, we'll do that.
So I guess the best place to find you is uh, Repcast on the Web3 marketing channel.
Yeah, I'm there, and it's funny because I've been into X Twitter since, of course, 2021, but as a small account, it's quite tricky to get like traction. That I don't want to be influencer. Don't get me wrong. It's just like
Hmm.
sometimes it's nice just to post things for yourself. Like I like the idea of using social media as a sort of a sort of diary as well of my learnings and what I'm doing, what I'm interested about. So, but on Twitter, it's very like shouting into the like ocean. So when WordCast came along, I really like to like build connection there. Like, yes, we did, and it's a nice little place to be. I'm back on X a bit more now, and I'm finding that leveraging communities. So maybe it's also like learning from Warpcast where there are channels and you get more traction there because you post something that is really native to that conversation. And on X there are communities. So I'm finding now that when you post on X, if you post in a community, you have also more chance to get like notice. So I think it's a
Hmm.
yeah, it's nice learning there as well. But yes, it's WordPress is where I am most of the time.
All right. Well, I think for now, like that's we can finish here. There's a lot of insight as you share, and I don't know if you
Thank
have
you.
one last thing
Yeah, I think
to
it's
add.
like being passionate. I don't think yeah you can really uh fake it in this space. You know, it's just like you have to be passionate about the technology. You have to be passionate about learning new things, be curious, connecting with people. So I think it's just like you cannot be bored as far as you love this space. You will make it in a way if you follow your passion.
That's a good way to end the podcast. Well, thank you again.
Thank you for having me. It's nice to talk to you.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye. Have a lovely day. Bye. Bye.